Hey guys, I'm Daisho and I am here bringing you some magic, and this is the latest draft that I've done, and it is my green-black Gogare Scavenge deck with a couple of awesome cards. It's got a Gerard in there, it's got a Corpse Jack Menace, and just a whole bunch of good Scavenge cards, and I don't know, it's got some elements of aggression, like here I play a turn 2 Drudge Beetle into a turn 3 Dead Reveler, so it's a pretty cool deck, and I really like it. And I love how it came out, and I thought it was a pretty awesome deck. So you'll get to see now how it does in actual competition. So my opponent leads off with a Centaur's Herald turn 1, and he thinks for a while on his turn 2, but decides not to play anything. And then I get in there with my Drudge Beetle, he takes it, and can play another Dead Reveler, so it's looking pretty good for me. He does have the option of just holding back next turn and basically scaring me with the Centaur, which he can make from the Centaur's Herald, and that brings up an interesting point that I wanted to talk about, which is how to deal with the Centaur's Herald. If you don't really have any ways, like a lot of times I have something like a Street Spasm in hand, so I can just use it on turn 2 if I don't even have a play, and just kill a Centaur's Herald or something like that, but I just don't know when is really the right time to use it. Should I wait until it becomes a Centaur and kill that, or should I just kill it when I can just Street Spasm it for 1? Is that even worth it? Sometimes Centaur's Herald just sits on the board forever and they never even activate it, and it's not even like that scary. But anyway, turn 3 he just decides to activate it or sacrifice it and make it into a Centaur, and I'm not really sure why he didn't just chump block the Dead Reveler. I don't really know what he could be playing around, but for whatever reason he decided to take the 3 first, and it's not such a big deal for him because he has this Armory Guard right here, so he knows that he's going to be able, and now with an Armory Guard and a Centaur, he knows that I'm not really going to be able to get in. Like, I might be able to get in with the Death Touch guy if he doesn't want to just trade it with a Centaur or something like that, which is fine for me. But, I mean, like, I'm fine trading a Scorpion for a Centaur, but I mean, like, even if the Scorpion does go to the graveyard, that's not great for him, because then I can put it on like my Dead Reveler and it'll be a 5/6 and it'll be able to get through the Armory Guard. But Armory Guard is just sometimes such a powerhouse when your opponent's really aggressive and they like waste all their cards on unleash things, and then you just play an Armory Guard and they can't get through it. But here he just decides to double block the Dead Reveler and trade with the Centaur, which is a pretty good play, because if he had waited until I could scavenge onto it, then it could be in a much better situation for me. So I have a Towering Inject here, and then here he makes an attack which doesn't make any sense, so that puts up red flags in my head saying, okay, my opponent has to have a pump spell, because otherwise I would just be able to block with my Towering Inject and there would be no point in this attack. So since he has Vigilance, he also has nothing to lose from this attack, so I do a double move with this block here. I don't really need the Towering Inject since I've got another one in hand, and blocking here with my 2/4 means that if he wants anything interesting to happen, then he's going to have to use a spell. So he uses his Selesnya Charm to kill my Towering Inject, which I definitely think is a fair trade for me. Like, I'm very happy to make that trade. I'd much rather do it then instead of like when I double block something and then he uses it and he 2-for-1s me or something like that. So this situation is really preferable to me. So yeah, I'm just going to play another Towering Inject and ship the turn right back since he arrested my Scorpion. I can't attack with it. So, I mean, I've gotten down to 13 here, and I really need to draw something like a Stab Wound or a Gerard or something like that I can stabilize the board and start beating in, and or just getting in for extra damage and taking him down that last leg of the way from 13 to 0, which, I mean, the first 7 damage is pretty easy to get it, and it's usually harder to get the last bit. But here he's going to play Centaur Healer, taking himself back up to 16 and giving him a creature. So that's obviously terrible for me. So here I draw a Corpse Jack Menace, and I previously wasn't going to attack with the Scorpion because I didn't really want to trade with the Arrestor, but with the Corpse Jack Menace I'm definitely willing to. And I'm just going to play my land and my Corpse Jack Menace and scavenge onto my Drudge Beetle. So now my Drudge Beetle is a 6/6, so it is the biggest thing on the board, and he can't even double block it and kill it. So as long as he doesn't have extremely relevant spells in hand, I'm going to be able to win this game pretty easily, because even if he can find a way to kill my Drudge Beetle, then he still has to deal with the scavenge counters that I get from the Drudge Beetle onto like my Towering Inject or something like that. But unfortunately, he's got an Armada Worm, and I was amazed. At this point in the game, I answered my friend, I'm like, oh wow, was that your pack 1 pick 1? And he said, no, that was actually my pack 3 pick 1. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty scary. And I don't know if you guys can see his hand, but a little spoiler, if you were able to see what his pack 1 pick 1 was. But anyway, Armada Worm is a pretty big deal, but I can still actually deal with it since I've got the 6/6 Drudge Beetle. And then he plays Courser's Accord, so he gets another 5/5 Worm and a 3/3. So he's got 2 3/3s, a 2/5, and 3 5/5 Tramplers to my 2/4, 6/6, and 4/4. So I'm really not in great shape here, but I mean, it's still a part of the game where if I draw some really relevant spells, like another Sluiceway Scorpion, then maybe I'll be able to survive. And here, I think I get a pretty good draw. I got the Golgari Key Rune, so if he does decide to go for an all-out attack, I can trade it with one of the worms or something like that. But now he draws his 7th land, which is all he needs to cast his Angel of Serenity, his pack 1, pick 1. I guess he thinks for a little while and then decides, yep, it's worth it. So he just eats all my guys and then just swings in for, or he can swing in for lethal, so I just concede. But man, that is some pack 1, pick 1, pack 3, pick 1. He's got an Angel of Serenity and an Armada Worm. So that was that was a pretty interesting game, and you have to imagine my mind going into sideboarding for game 2. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be back with game 2 tomorrow. So have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.